Yeah, fun. Yeah. So I got the vaccine a couple days ago. You got it today, and we've had
At Disneyland, but there were no rides. Even if you've been vaccinated, there are no
but we
rides.
promised people we were going to do a Q&A and answer their questions because I got to tell you, I have posted some of the grittiest, worst parts of the time in my life when it was a train wreck, and I did not get the kind of response that I got over getting the COVID vaccine. It's very controversial. People are very, and I get it because it's a hard time right now. People are scared. They are upset. They've got all sorts of feelings around this. My feeling is it's very individual. It's very personal. Um, that
Yeah, I don't think people should be forced to get the vaccine. Absolutely not. I think you should make the decision for yourself.
Right.
And I think, there are a lot of people going, we're shocked that you got the vaccine. Well, I'm 66 and my dad died in large part because of COVID. So when people go, oh, it's just like the flu, no, my dad would have survived the flu.
Well, and we just have had so many people around us. So your mom did okay. She's 88. She recovered.
My mom did great.
But then we had, there's 42-year-old that is connected to us through our DC clinic who died. We had a 25-year-old yesterday going to the hospital. Our 28-year-old in New York was on a ventilator for 6 weeks. It seems to me like it's got no rhyme or
10 weeks.
10 weeks.
10 weeks.
No rhyme or reason. Sometimes you just don't know. But what scares me is some of the people closest to me. Like, because we have a lot of employees, we see a lot of patients, and so we can't just isolate as easily, I think, as a lot of people can, and it's our responsibility, I think, to try to protect our employees and our patients. But it's so all over the board. So someone very close to me got it and had some cognitive issues, and that scared me. And they're starting to now see that there are a lot of cognitive issues.
Up to 20% of people who get COVID end up having cognitive issues. I mean, you already know people lose their sense of taste and smell,
which is connected to your brain.
One person I know lost it in October and is still not back. And although she said there's a benefit to it, which is she can totally eat healthy and it doesn't bother her at all. So why did you get it?
Okay, so I'm just going to be very candid. I was very anti-vaccine when it first came out. You know me. I was like, not doing it. No one's going to make me. I don't like being told what to do. I was like, not going to do it. But then I was like, this is just a bad flu. Yes, some people die of the flu, which is tragic and terrible. But then I started to see it and I'm like, this is not quite like a bad flu. And it's too random to me to see who gets sick and who doesn't. I think I'm vulnerable. As much as I take care of myself,
because you have an autoimmune disorder.
And you have to be careful with autoimmune disorders. Some types of autoimmune disorders, they say, are the people who shouldn't get it. So you need to really check with your healthcare provider. But for me, I've had so many health issues, and it was really worrying my family. It was worrying you. I wasn't sort of letting a lot of people come around because of it. And so I just made the decision that for me, I wanted to do that. I wanted to get it after doing enough of my own research. And I know there is so much controversy over this. So we will address those questions. I get it. The vaccine is unpredictable. It hasn't been around that long. I didn't really want to go get some foreign substance injected into my body. I haven't had a vaccine in 20 years. But in this case, I had to weigh the risk benefit.
Now you're supposed to ask me why I got it.
Why did you get it?
So I am not an anti-vax person. I think of myself as a thoughtful vax person. It's because of vaccines that smallpox no longer exists. It's because of vaccines children don't have polio. But I think putting mercury and aluminum vaccines, that's not a good idea.
And layering.
And that we should do it in a cautious, thoughtful way. But this pandemic is devastating. People, businesses, families, economies, the incidence of depression has tripled. And there doesn't seem to be an end in sight. I mean, it's worse now. The deaths now are worse than they've been at any time in this pandemic. Now, I've been posting like 100 times that your best defense against COVID-19 is your immune system and your brain. And I totally believe that. But yet, as someone who sees patients, I want to protect myself, my family, and I want to protect my patients. And, not being able to see people in person, it's not as good as, seeing them online. I want to do the best job. And then when I saw people like Dr. Drew get it and be really sick, Greg Norman, the famous golfer who's about my age, who's really healthy, get it and feel just awful. I'm like, no, I don't want to feel awful. I want to be safe, to be smart. And yes, it's a risk. Everything in life is a risk. You don't do it, it's a risk. You do it, it's a risk. And so you're always weighing, is this good or not? And the physicians at Amen Clinics, they're like standing in line getting the vaccine because we believe at this point it's safe. And we know for vulnerable people, this virus is very dangerous.
Now, we're happy to go through our experience with you because I know a lot of people are scared and nervous, and I was certainly scared and nervous, still am. But, it's like, I'm happy to share the good, bad, and the ugly. I don't get paid by these vaccine companies. It's not like I have a vested interest in it, other than sharing with you my experience. So,
and one of the questions, it's a great question. We have 20 questions, is have I seen before and after scans with vaccines? And not yet. They just released it. But I have a database now of before and after COVID infections. And the news isn't great, not for everybody, but it seems like their emotional brain gets lit up with this. And for some people, the vaccine clearly, the virus looks toxic.
And the new studies are indicating that there is cognitive decline in a certain percentage of people who get COVID.
Right.
Like, we know that now.
And long COVID can be associated with depression, with memory problems, with cognitive impairment. Now, again, don't hear us say, oh, the vaccine is the answer.
And don't hear us say you should get it.
It's just part of the answer, really boosting your immune system and taking care of your physical health is the most important thing to do. So the next question is, are you aware the vaccine doesn't prevent you or patients from getting the virus? Yes, we're aware of it. If we get it, our immune system is looking for it. So it's training our immune system. And we don't know that if you get the vaccine, can you still spread it? Because the answer,
we don't know.
Maybe yes. We just
But a lot of people think that a lot of people think the answer is you still absolutely will spread it. And the truth is we don't know yet.
And the third question is, how do you feel after it? I've had a pretty normal day and we went for a walk.
My first day, I was very, very tired that night. Fine the next day, sore arm for 24 hours. And that was about it.
Yeah, I'm hoping she doesn't slug me in the arm tonight. It would not be good. My arm is sore, but other than that, I just feel normal. We got the Moderna vaccine, and it's really not like we had a choice.
Yeah, no, they didn't give you a choice.
That, we're in the first group, healthcare providers, and here in Orange County, people over the 65, so I qualify.
So there's some concern that people have about some companies using the embryonic tissue from aborted fetuses or the stem cells. And I just want to say the research I've done, at least unless they're lying, Pfizer and Moderna don't use it. There are companies that do use them because that's a big thing going around right now. So Pfizer and Moderna supposedly do not use them, but there are a couple of companies that do. So if that's your concern.
So another question is, do you have to be followed on site? And they generally recommend 15 minutes to make sure you don't have, but I was asked 3 times today, are you vulnerable to having allergic reactions? And I've never had an allergic reaction. And but they're watching for that because there's been case reports of people getting really sick after it. So this one, wow, 2 medical people I follow for advice getting the vaccine makes me hopeful. And that was interesting because that's actually a comment you made today.
Yeah, it's the first time since March I finally felt like, which is weird because hear me clearly. I am not a big vaccine person, okay? Like you, I'm middle of the road. But I tend to not get vaccines or want my child to get vaccinated unless it is like really critical or mandatory. I'm not a big vaccine person, but for some reason, I, for the first time, felt a little bit of hope. Like, okay, maybe we're going to get back to normal. And that was just a feeling I had. And I'm not trying to sell anybody on anything. Trust me. I think this is a very personal decision.
People on the chat are talking about Robert Kennedy, who I know his issue with vaccines. And he will tell you flat out, he's not an anti-vaccine person, that he's a careful vaccine person.
That's how I feel.
And that's how I feel.
It's just in this case, I felt like the risks and benefits.
And there's another one about, does the research show the vaccine changes your personal DNA?
It does not.
DNA is in the nucleus of the cell. This is a microRNA vaccine. So
it has not shown, it doesn't enter the nucleus.
Although I wonder if it would make me more fun. If it would enhance my personality.
Yeah. Is it going to make me more intense?
Cuter. Please, God. Please. No. I'll blame the vaccine. Did you need an appointment? Yes. At least here in California, the answer is.
Although, if you are 65 and older in California, like my mom was having trouble with it. She showed up at a fire station. They're like, get in line. They're tending to be very lenient with the 65 and older who don't have appointments in some places.
How long until you wait for dose 2?
28 days for Moderna.
It's 3 weeks. And for Moderna, it's 4 weeks. Any symptoms? Sore arm?
I hear though that the second shot is when you have more symptoms, but it's normal. You're supposed to have more symptoms like fatigue and chills and all that stuff. That's your immune system kicking in. It's just those really rare symptoms that you want to watch out for. So one of the things that people are really concerned about is the PEG. We need to address that.
Okay.
Because it's in the vaccine. So people are concerned about it.
Things they give you for colon prep.
Right, it's colon prep. It's in some medications. But that's the thing
it's not something that I would do regularly.
It's not something I would do willingly if it were not a pandemic.
And that goes to the other question, 19. Do you both plan to do any detox afterwards?
We kind of live in detox.
This is very important. I'm not a huge fan of detoxing.
No, because we live that way.
I'm a fan of doing it every day.
Yeah.
That consume as little toxic material as possible. Don't put toxic products on your body. And then always support the 4 organs of detoxification. So we had a lot of water today. And
we have a sauna.
We sweated today with exercise. We have a sauna that helps your skin. So,
but we have our smoothies every day
with water. Support your gut with fiber. You should check out on Instagram the shake that I make every day for Tana. It is a best detoxifying shake. But I don't do it after an event. I do it every day because we live in a toxic environment. I don't drink because that damages your liver. And saunas can be so helpful.
And an anti-inflammatory diet. But that's rather than doing it just to detox. I mean, really keeping your inflammation down is one of the ways you do boost your immune system. So a lot of people are like, well, you can't boost your immune system naturally. Yes, you can. You keep the inflammation down. So an anti-inflammatory diet is how you do that. And we do that all the time.
And 60% of your immune system is in your gut. And so I take probiotics every day, probiotics, and try to eat.
And don't do things that damage your gut.
A healthy way. So again, another question is, should everybody get the vaccine? Probably not. If you are very allergic, it's something you have to be
well, there's
very
certain autoimmune
careful
issues
with.
that you want to talk to your doctor about because it can trigger your body into this autoimmune state. So you want to be careful with that. Also, it's individual. What I'm concerned about is that people are using this word, well, I don't trust people now that get the vaccine. Why? It's individual. This is a personal decision. If you feel like it protects you and protects your family. When did we become so political over? I get it. It's very, very tense right now. But you know, this is something you should weigh out for yourself. And if you don't want to get it, God bless you. You know, I support that. For me, I don't like being told I have to do something. And part of why I wanted to do it, I wanted to make my decision, think about it, and get it before someone tells me I have to, because I can guarantee you right now I would say no.
You know, and I'm watching some of the comments, and it's frustrating for me. We purposefully don't take political positions.
Yeah.
I mean, because, you know, you come to Amen Clinics, if you're Republican, Democrat, in between, we don't care. We want to help you. In my mind, I'm just talking to you as a physician and how I think about it. If you don't think about it that way, it doesn't mean you shouldn't be falling in love with your brain and trying to take care of it. But
right,
you know,
we don't have to agree.
We're just here to tell you what we think and what we believe. Right. And this is an important day for us.
Because you don't have to agree with someone on getting a vaccine or whatever to still enjoy talking to that person. That's the part that's confusing me right now, is that there's so many people that it's like, if you do this, then we're now against you. If you take that position, it's like, it's a freaking vaccine. It's a pandemic. I'm confused by that.
No, I think our society needs some family therapy, that, you know, listening to each other, not judging each other, being thoughtful. I have a new book coming out March 2nd called Your Brain is Always Listening. And it's about the dragons that still breathe fire on our emotional brains. Mm-hmm. And there's a chapter on the scheming dragons. And one of them is the newsmonger dragons, yes, because they purposefully divide people because it increases their ratings if they can work on the fear centers of the brain. Anyways, we wanted to answer your questions, and we'll try to get to as many of the comments as we can. We hope you stay safe. I mean, your best defense against COVID is your brain, because ultimately your brain makes every decision, and we want you to decide to be thoughtful, to be safe, and to honor this historically stressful time by doing the things that keep you and your loved ones safe.
And be kind, please. Just be kind to people.
Bye, everybody.